Okay, so part of the campaign that we're doing this week is compassion, family values, integrity, and respect. And so I decided that one of the major themes in my life that I consistently find myself running face first into is systemic oppression, systemic racism, and basically just matters to do with white privilege. And I use quotes because that's a direct quote. And to me, what I just posted is an example of my own privilege and how I have been privileged in the past. There's that song, first and foremost, Soul Survivor by Young Jeezy. I just posted this lyric. This ain't a rap song, this is my life. If the hood was a battlefield, then I'd earn stripes. We sing these songs and we hear these songs in top 40. So the biggest way that I feel personally like I can relate to and deploy compassion is by starting with empathy. And in order to empathize with the person, you have to see things through their eyes. So when I'm listening to this music and I'm hearing this, I truly cannot believe how many of the top 40 songs over the years, this goes back to Bob Marley. When was that song Redemption Song popular? This has been being sung about in modern music for decades. Yet my generation, I know my friends, a lot of them haven't made the connection. I recently just made the connection that privilege is not making the connection. If you don't live it, it's very difficult. So I'm hoping that by making this our campaign subject, we can respect what we didn't know and be compassionate. And this is going both ways. To us who didn't know and to those of us, so to the people who didn't know that we were living with privilege, and to those who have been sitting, sometimes struggling for so many years, trying to explain, the ways that we have been privileged. And I'm going to need some help with this campaign. Like I said, these kind of conversations and a GoPro Solo production, this is literally a think tank for my team who is going to knock it out of the park, I know, with translating these lessons, these respects, these integrities, these compassions, these empathies into all of these various perspectives and apply them to where they need to be applied most. I personally am going through some things in the system right now, so this is what's on my mind. Use it and apply it to whatever you can, and create content and share these messages. And it's crazy because on the train, I said this to someone and they were like, yeah, that's true. They were like, yeah, that's true, but no one's going to understand that. You have to think deeper to understand that. When you hear the hood is a battlefield, I'd earn stripes, a lot of people jump to the conclusion that they're glorifying violence, or that they choose a voluntary, like they've got a whole bunch of offers going on and they just choose like a life of, violence and guns and et cetera and so forth. And the best way I explained it to this person is like, no, it's actually like this. You are sitting in a pile of shit and there are two doors to get out of the pile of shit. And you can either open one door or the other one, but regardless of which of the two doors you open, you're just stepping into another room full of shit. So I know there are more artistic ways of explaining that, and I know we can get through to people, especially in our generation, who are open-minded and just didn't understand, what it was. And like I said, the main reason for this and the main purpose is because we can ask each other to be respectful and compassionate to each other, but you guys have to understand, and again, this is going both ways. There are people who are so privileged that they don't understand what privilege is. There are people who are so oppressed that they don't understand what oppression is, and vice versa. And that is the realest, most truest thing I've ever said. So in order to show respect and compassion for both sides, we need to educate in a way that is not fear-mongering, is not violence inciting, is not antagonistic or provocative, in the way that it's not encouraging people to get angry and upset and do something, but in the way that it's encouraging people to learn more, and learning is the best tool that we have. Taking the time to understand someone's situation is the best way you could ever respect them, in my opinion. And that's it. You know, you can't sit there and speak as to why we have such a problem with people living in poverty if you don't understand why they're living in poverty. You know, you can't help people address any of these situations if you don't respect them enough to find out how they got there and why.